Hey everybody, it's Diana and my son Cody. We are going to talk today about his experience with bipolar disorder with psychosis, a recent diagnosis that he got and psychosis that he went through. So I'm going to ask him some questions because I feel it's important to inform the world about what it is, but from the person's perspective, not just from a doctor's or psychiatrist's or the textbooks, because I think that's very different than reality. And I also just want to hear from him, as well as other people out there, what their experience was like and is like, and how they cope in day-to-day life. So I have some questions for my wonderful son here. Say hello to Cody.
Hi.
Okay, so my first question is, when did you first notice any mental health symptoms?
Since I was a little kid, I was always a little different at first. At that time, you didn't really know what it was,
Right.
but you knew there was something else going on for sure.
Yeah. So what specifically, what symptoms or how did you feel that you felt you were different, or what did you experience as a little kid?
I never fit in school at all. I had a hard time making friends, of course. I was always hard. I could make them, I just couldn't keep them. But
And then, how did you feel though when you were little? I mean, did you feel angry, confused, frustrated?
super confused.
Okay.
Because again, I was trying to get guidance from my parents, and I couldn't say it in English what I was going through to explain it all. So
Yes.
it was all a little confusing at first.
Okay. So just to inform the world out there, when he was younger, we did know there was something different or concerning. Like he mentioned, didn't get along with really any other kids, and then he was very angry, very frustrated all the time, cried for hours on end every day. So one of the frustrations that I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to as a parent, as well as a individual with mental illness, is the doctors didn't know what to diagnose him with. So as a kid, he was diagnosed with many things, and they could be accurate and they could not. I mean, that's the hard thing to say. I mean, now as an adult, all the symptoms and diagnoses has changed. So that's one of my frustrations as a parent, and the mental health field as a whole. And I work in the mental health field, so I see it on both sides, as a parent, as an individual, as well as a professional in the field. So it is very frustrating. So talk more about about your most recent, we're just going to call it a psychotic break, because basically what he experienced from a professional standpoint was a psychotic break, which means he was in psychosis. So a little background on psychosis is you have some form of hallucinations and or delusions, and you just can't function in day-to-day life, to where you do have to be hospitalized. So that's what just occurred with him. So tell me how you what did you experience during your psychosis, like, that you can explain to the best of your ability?
I would have to say that when I went out in public, everything was very negative. I'd go out and I'd hear someone pounding on, say, a trash can, and I thought it was towards me, in a negative way, telling me to get out of there, to leave, go home. And so that's why it kind of ended up, I would turn around and then go back home and just sit in my room all day, because I was confused as to what really was going on, for sure.
Okay, so some paranoia. Did you see or hear anything that wasn't there, to the best of your knowledge? No,
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But then again, it felt all so real. So
True.
It could have been that I just didn't see it
Right.
in that aspect.
So what's interesting is, as you can see, viewers, is, it's hard for somebody in psychosis to describe it, because to them it is real. And so that's why it's really important if you do see somebody or know somebody going through this is to really seek help, because to them they don't think that anything's wrong, which is concerning. So you did stop going to work, correct? Tell me more about what was going on in your life at the time before you got hospitalized.
I felt like I was kind of jumping times, so time wasn't really a thing for me, and so I'd have off days. I had two of them, and then it only felt like a couple hours that passed, and then I had to go back to work. But I didn't see it as that because my time frame was all kind of switched up.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so how has that experience and your diagnosis and your hospitalization and everything changed your life?
Changed it to not take anything for granted, for sure. Because I had a lot, and I worked hard for it all, and then a day later it's gone. And it's more of like I gotta stay in the moment and appreciate things as they are.
And so now, so you're on many medications, and he's doing great, stabilized, doing wonderful. How do you perceive things now? Like, do you feel it's difficult? Do you view life as more challenging than it was before, or you feel like, no, I can do anything that I could before?
I feel like I can do anything now. Back then I didn't, and I was a little self-confident as well. It didn't help that, I don't know, it was super hard for me, because I didn't know what was really going on. I thought I was a millionaire, and I just had all the money in the world, and I could spend it like I wanted to. But in reality, it wasn't. I still had a full-time job I had to go to, and it kind of changed it in that time frame. For the better, everything slowed down, for sure. Everything's a lot slower. I can slowly process things. As before the medication, it was too much going on all at once. Something over there in the corner of my eye, a sound over there, too bright. Now it's all kind of slowed down so I can process it each minute at a time, and it's not feeling like it's sped up.
Okay, that's cool. All right. So what do you want the world to know about you and bipolar disorder?
I want to let them know that it's normal. It's nothing bad. We all have challenges we have to go through in life, but it's totally normal. And luckily now that I'm at this state, it kind of lets me know that as well. That I'm starting to get to know me, the true me, and I'm starting to finally figure it all out a little bit easier. It's always going to get better. That's all I have to say.
Good. Well, awesome. So the message today is, if you do have bipolar disorder, or you know somebody that does, or maybe you think you do and you haven't been diagnosed or whatever, definitely seek professional help, because with help and with medications, you can be just as successful as anybody. Unfortunately, where I work in a psychiatric hospital here in Las Vegas, I see a lot of patients that they get hospitalized due to psychosis, and then they go back out into the world. They don't follow up with their doctors. They don't take their meds, or maybe they don't have a support system that's much needed. And so, unfortunately, they don't succeed in life. So, again, you do have to accept it, recognize it, and then seek professional help. But if you do, and you stick to it, and you'll be just as successful as anybody else. So, don't give up. But hopefully what we talked about today will help somebody out there that's struggling with it, or has a family member or friend with it, to know what it is, what are the warning signs, how they perceive everything in life and how it feels, and then to know that this is a happy outcome. So but thank you for sharing your story, and I hope everybody learns from this, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.